Shalom, it's Hifil from the Kifar with our Hebrew verb lesson, and we are going to review all of the present tense conjugations of the Hif'il binyan. And then in our next lesson, we're going to get started with the past tense. And as always, we're going to start by reviewing the exercise verbs that I gave you in the last video, where we use the verb leharshot, which is to allow or to permit, to illustrate the conjugation pattern of the vav tav hif'il verb. And this is the hif'il verb where the infinitive ends in a vav tav. So the first verb was leha'alot, get rid of that initial lamed, and we're left with he'ela, the root. But again, what we want is the sound pattern from the infinitive, that a. And the vav tav we see turned into a he. So the masculine singular, ma'ale, feminine singular, ma'ala. So same exact spelling, but for the masculine and a for the feminine. Ma'alim, masculine plural, and ma'alot, feminine plural. The second verb is lehashvot, get rid of the lamed, and we're left with hishva. But again, we want that initial a from our infinitive. So mashve, masculine singular. Mashva, feminine singular. Again, same spelling, masculine feminine a. Masculine plural, mashvim, and feminine plural, mashvot. And so now that we have gone through all of the groups, I just want you to look at them again side by side. So we have our regular group, and we use the verb lehargish to illustrate that pattern. And when you get rid of the lamed, you're left with hargish or hirgish, but we're sticking with the sound of the infinitive when it comes to our present tense conjugation. So we go from lehargish to margish. So we just replace that hey with a mem. Margisha, add the final a sound for feminine singular. Margishim and margishot with our im masculine plural and our ot feminine plural endings. The next group, which we use lehavin to illustrate, this sounds very similarly to the regular group, but our initial sound is e as opposed to a for the masculine singular. So for the regular, we have margish, but for the A group, we have mevin. Okay, margisha, mevina, so we have that shva vowel, and then mevinim and mevinot. Then our third group was the O. We use the verb lehorid, and this is the group where the beginning sound is leho as opposed to leha, which we saw in the first two groups. So lehorid, get rid of that lamed, and we go from horid to morid, morida, moridim, and moridot. So very similar to the first group, but instead of that initial a, we have o. Then the fourth group, this is the group where we have 4 syllables. So le ha'atik as opposed to 3. Le horid, le havin, le hargish. So the conjugation pattern is basically the same as the regular group. We just have an additional syllable because we have 4 syllables as opposed to 3. So le ha'atik, and then we go to ma'atik, ma'atika, ma'atikim, and ma'atikot. And then finally, we have our group 5, our vav tav group, and we've seen this type of verb in PL and also in pa'al, where when the infinitive ends in a vav tav, and again, infinitive just means the to form of the verb, like to allow, to copy, to lower, to understand, to feel, etc. So the infinitive ends in a vav tav, and so we convert that vav tav into a he. So leharshot, we want the a pattern from the infinitive. So leharshot, that vav tav becomes a he, and so we get marshe, for masculine, marsha, the a for the feminine, and then marshim and marshot, our regular im and ot plural endings. And notice that that final he that we have in the singular masculine and feminine forms drops out. So we don't have it in the plural masculine or in the plural feminine. Okay, so these are the 5 Hif'il groups that we learned about in previous videos. And so now we are going to look at the exercises that I provided, and the links to both the exercises and the answers are in the description. So the first exercise is to take each of these infinitives, lehafil, leachin, lehoshit, leha'azin, lehodot, and leha'anish, and identify the type. And by type, we know that they all fall into the Hif'il binyan, but within the binyan, how do we categorize them, okay? And you don't have to use the exact names that I come up with. They're not official names. If you categorize them in a different way to help you remember them, that's fine. What's important is just that you know how to identify them so that you'll know how to conjugate them, okay? And then there's also space for you to put in the root as well. In the second exercise, I provide you with 5 infinitives, lehovil, lehazin, lehodot, lehaf'il, and lehachin. You will need to conjugate them and then choose the correct conjugation to fill in the sentence. And I provided the translations as well, just to help you out. And in the final exercise, I give you 10 infinitives, 10 Hif'il verbs, and you should find the root and then conjugate them in the masculine and feminine singular and masculine and feminine plural. So your verbs are lehaflit, to pass gas. It's okay, everybody farts. You need to know how to say that. Leha'anish, to punish. Lehodot, to thank or to acknowledge. Lehakri, to read aloud. Leharshot, to allow or to permit. Lehaklid, to type. Leha'aliv, to offend or to insult. Lehakim, to establish. Lehafsid, to lose, and this is like I lost a game or I lost a bet, not you lost an item. And lehatzliach, which is to succeed. Okay? And again, this exercise worksheet as well as the answers are both in the description. So you can download them and check your work whenever you're ready. Okay, so that's all for today. Toda ala tzfiya, and I'll see you for the next Hebrew Verbs video. Lehitaot.